Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we're going to talk about the keys to the White House and a system. And we'll also mention the fact that this is definitely the most requested video because I got a couple hundred messages about it. Okay, so there is a professor, and this professor has a system for predicting the outcome of elections. His name's Lichtman. The two questions that are in the messages are, just generally about it and what the current predictions are and how I feel about it. Me, I think a lot of this is very subjective by appearance. Okay? That being said, when it comes to the Bostradamus stuff, when it comes to conflict, if I was to make a chart on how I do that, the one word used to describe it would be subjective. So that doesn't really help. What about a track record of success? Going back to 1984, every election except for one was able to accurately predict the person who won. The one that he got wrong, he said Gore was going to win. When you have a 90% track record and the one error is something that has a massive extenuating circumstance, I'm inclined to give it to him. That was definitely a unique situation. Okay, so how does this system work? There are 13 keys, and it's for the incumbent party. If the incumbent party has 8 of the keys or more, they win. It's really simple. The keys are true-false statements. So if there are 8 trues or more, they win. What are the 13 keys? The first is party mandate. Now, again, that's one of those things that sounds really subjective. Actually, if you dig into it, this is super objective. Basically, it has to do with the number of seats in the House of Representatives at the midterms versus the previous midterms. In this key, Biden has false. Doesn't get this one. No primary contest for the incumbent party. True. It is the incumbent seeking a re-election for the incumbent party, meaning the sitting president. True. No third party. Now, again, that seems to be subjective, but when you dig into it, there is a little bit of methodology to it. It appears that third party needs to be floating around 10%. Lichtman has said that this looks to be true, but hasn't made a final determination on it. So that looks to be true. Strong short-term economy. Not in recession. It's really what it appears to boil down to. So, true. Strong long-term economy. This has to do with the per capita growth as compared to the previous 2 terms as an average, a mean. Either way, it's a true for Biden. Obtained a major policy change. That's a true. No social unrest. He has that as looks to be true, but hasn't made a final determination on it. His concern is whether or not the protests about Gaza spiral. As I understand what he requires for it to be social unrest, yeah, I'm going to say that's incredibly unlikely. But he says this looks to be true, hasn't made the final determination. No scandal. This is true by his determination. There are two about foreign policy. No foreign policy failure, and that looks false. No foreign policy success, that looks false. Charismatic incumbent. Again, to me, that's incredibly subjective. However, when you hear him talk about it, he's kind of like, well, Biden's not JFK or FDR. I mean, if that's the standard, yeah, definitely a false, which is what he's given him. And an uncharismatic challenger. I don't think anybody's going to say that Trump is JFK or FDR or Reagan or anything like that. So that one is labeled a true by him. And yeah, that tracks. So if you add those up, those that are already true, Biden has 7. The Democratic Party has 7. As far as the two that look to be true, the third party, I see it as incredibly unlikely that RFK is going to start polling around the 10%. And then the social unrest, as I understand what that standard is, as it's being applied here, it would take something really out there for it to spiral to that level. So if both of those in his final determination, which I guess he makes in August, if both of those are labeled as true, that would give Biden 9, which is more than he needs to have the 8 predictors, the 8 keys. So I think it's unusual. I think it's unusual methodology, but it is in fact methodology. Most political commentators, I mean, I don't want to say it like this, but I mean, it's mostly vibes. There's not something that they can point to and say, this is how I make my determinations. Oh, by the way, I've been doing it for 40 years. So it's interesting. I am very curious what his final determination is going to be come August. So anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.